So we talked in part one of this video about why empaths are so heavily targeted by dark entities and by dark sorcery. And so for this part two of this video, we're going to go a little bit deeper. And part three of this video is going to talk about how to activate your empathic powers so that they are not being used against you and so that they are not being siphoned by dark entities and by dark sorcerers. So let's get into part two of this conversation. And we're going to talk about three major reasons that empaths are so heavily targeted by dark magic and are more likely for this reason to experience spiritual warfare of a supernatural nature. So one major reason that empaths are so heavily targeted by dark sorcery and by dark entities is because these spiritual attacks are an attempt to corrupt our natural God-given energy and our soul mission. So by attacking us unjustly and persecuting us, dark sorcerers and entities literally hope to corrupt our faith, our hearts, and the flow of our energy. Because the real spiritual tea is that empaths have a heightened ability to channel and radiate energy. So this is why we are so sensitive to other people's energy and emotions, but this is also why our own emotions and our own energy is so powerful. And so when we are operating in love, our energy is powerful enough to bring about earth-wide revolutions and reform on a spiritual level and on a social level. But when we ourselves are operating out of bitterness, anger, hopelessness, envy, shame, guilt, any of those low vibrational energies or emotions, we can literally amplify and feed into the darkness on this planet. So the thing with being an empath is that you have the ability to either activate and expand the light of this planet or contribute to and expand the darkness of this planet. And of course, everybody has the ability to do this, to either bring light or darkness. But the thing with empaths is that we do it times 3, times 10, right? So you can think of empaths as a cell phone tower. The same way that a cell phone tower emits signals that millions of phones can tap into from that one cell phone tower, empaths also emit vibrational frequencies based on their emotional resonance. So if an empath is operating in dark or negative energy, they will then essentially send out negative signals that hundreds of other people can also feel and be corrupted by, because an empath's darkness will bring out and amplify the darkness in other people. So now let's move on to reason number 2 that empaths are so heavily targeted by dark sorcery and by dark magic. And the real reason why we experience this type of warfare is because it's all spiritual initiation. People don't necessarily like to hear that, but it is the truth. We have to think of spiritual warfare as field training or as a spiritual boot camp. It is essentially the hands-on training that you have to receive in order to learn and activate both your spiritual gifts and the spiritual destiny that is attached to that spiritual gift. So empaths have a greater responsibility to learn healing techniques and energy alchemy because we essentially came here to bring healing to this planet. So the caveat is that your first patient, every empath, every healer, every light worker's first patient is going to be themselves. So we have to first heal ourselves, and the gifts, skills, and talents that we cultivate during our own healing process during the journey of undergoing spiritual warfare is going to be the tools that we use and rely on to bring healing to others. But the universe needs us to first know how it feels to go through warfare in order to properly help people going through warfare. And the universe needs us to know how it feels to need healing in order for us to be trusted with helping to heal others. So yes, there is a divine order to spiritual warfare. We just have to be wise enough to see it. And I definitely have to emphasize the element of it being very important for us to go through our own spiritual warfare, because we are meant to help other people through spiritual warfare. Because I have a lot of weird comments on my channel saying that I don't know what it's like to go through witchcraft. This channel started as me just telling my story, and it developed into me helping people who are going through the same thing. So each empath has a responsibility to go through their healing journey, activate their spiritual destiny, and help other people do the same. And we're going to talk more about this in part 3 of this video, in terms of how to activate your empathic power and overcome your spiritual warfare situation. Okay, so now let's continue with this conversation. The reason number 3 that empaths are so heavily targeted by dark sorcery is because when we go through spiritual warfare, we are being challenged and fortified to stand in our own spiritual values and show other people how to do the same. So empaths have a great responsibility to lead by example. Empaths and light workers are hardwired with a strong sense of justice, truth, loyalty, love. So we go through warfare to face injustice and hatred and deceit head on in order to learn how to counteract these negative energies with a positive input. And this is energy alchemization, okay? And so when I say negative and positive, it's not about one energy being bad and dark and the other energy being good and light. Negative and positive refers to the energetic charge or quality of the energy. For instance, energies like injustice, deceit, trickery, persecution are negative energies because they leave energetic voids. They take from people. They take people's sense of trust, their hope, their compassion, their love for life. While positively charged energies, on the other hand, like love and justice, compassion, honesty, these give and pour into people. So negative energies reduce people. They detract from people. They take things from people. Positive energies pour into people. And so at its core, beyond this being about some simplified understanding of like good and evil, light and dark, bad and good, this is really about the universe's desire to achieve balance through the interactions between polarities, aka opposites. So everything, including negativity and darkness and warfare, has its rightful place in the universe. If the creator did not want negativity and demons and darkness to exist, it simply wouldn't exist. So we have to know that there is a spiritual purpose behind darkness and behind light. They both serve their purpose, and the purpose is for our spiritual evolution at the end of the day. So since everything has its rightful place in the universe, it's up to empaths to remember our rightful place in the universe, because we did not come here to succumb to negativity and to spread more darkness and decay. There's already enough of that. We came to bring balance to the darkness. So we came to bring balance to darkness by standing in our light power. So we have to be the positive charge that balances out negative energy, because this is the side of the spectrum or the coin that we chose in this specific lifetime. Because beyond black and white thinking of sorcerers bad, empaths good, this war between light and dark, positive and negative, is a tale as old as time. And people who are empaths now were not always on this side of the spectrum. Very often we have had previous lives where we were the narcissists and the dark sorcerers and the sociopaths, right? And even in this lifetime, before we were awakened and enlightened, we had negative qualities. So people who are empaths now were indeed the narcissists, the sorcerers, the energy vamps in previous lifetimes, or we could have been these things before we awakened in this lifetime. But the thing is that now we have evolved to a point in our spiritual evolution to where we have finally chosen light, positivity, and healing for this lifetime. And so this is all about the journey, friends. This is about the journey from light to dark to light again, losing the soul, finding the soul, over and over again until we cultivate it to a state of perfection. And so this journey from dark to light is not just a journey of lifetimes. This is a daily journey, because every day that we wake up, we have to choose whether we are operating in positivity or in negativity. And if we are not mindful of our healing and our purpose, we could be an empath today and a narcissist tomorrow, okay? So in order to stay connected to your starlight power and avoid senses of hopelessness and despair and victimization, affirm to yourself, I am an eternal being, finding my soul self again and again every day and every lifetime. I just saw 1:44 on the clock. And also remember that this is a collective journey. Even the dark sorcerers and the dark witches are on their own ascension and evolution journey. And so they are the villain in your story in this lifetime, but we have been the villain in other people's story in other lifetimes and even in this lifetime. So the point is that we are all on a journey of evolution. And so we have to remember that this is happening for us and not to us. And so if you enjoy the types of conversations that we have here on the YouTube, please know that we go deeper and deeper into these conversations on the Patreon. And if you need further insight on your specific and personalized situation, this is where I recommend booking a one-on-one reading, where in that reading we could tap in with your angels, your spirit guides, your ancestors. We can look into past lives, we can look into your destiny, so on, so forth. So I hope that this video was helpful. There will be a link for readings and the Patreon in the pinned comments below. May enlightenment be forever upon you. Ashe.